find out about the psychology of gift giving, and we'll teach you a new word today called giftophobia. Let's jump right into this week's episode of the LA Business Podcast.
Welcome to the LA Business Podcast, your destination to hear stories of how businesses grow and scale. I'm Robert Brill, CEO of Brill Media and the host of this podcast. Now, let's jump right into this week's interview.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the LA Business Podcast. Today our guest is Vinayak Mahajan, founder and CEO of Gift of Feeling Incorporated, the only gifting company in the world that educates people on how to find a gift based on research done on human psychology. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me here, Robert. Nice to meet you.
So, how did you come up with this idea? It sounds like a really interesting gifting company. How does this come to exist?
Yeah, so this started when I worked for the Royal Bank in Canada. One of my colleagues was retiring from the bank, and we were looking for gifts for a bunch of gifts for the colleague, and I was given the opportunity to find something. So, like everyone else do, I went online, searched up best gifts for retirements, best gift for retirees, and all those keywords that you play with on Google. And I figured that there were two kinds of posts and two kind of things that resources that were coming up online. One of them was the list of top 10 gifts for retirees, or the best gift for retirees, or you can say the perfect gift for retirees. All these blog posts from companies and marketers and businesses who are trying to sell their products with this fake perception that their gifts are the perfect ones, the best ones, the top 10 ones with no research done behind them. There's really no authority or trust badge behind the this whole phrase of saying that this is the best gift. And the second type of resource that I found online was actual research done by universities around the world and psychologists. But there was no interlink between these two things. Either you could find the products that have no research in behind them, or you can find research which doesn't really interlink with the practicality. And it's really hard for general public to comprehend the whole research, reading the research papers and everything that they post journals and stuff. So I was the what I was trying to do is after all these, I went on Amazon and really couldn't find anything. So all this reading that I did for 2 days went in vain because there wasn't really a bridge between these two things. So I saw a huge gap there, and I thought that's something that everyone goes through. And this same question, what to gift, was searched more than 100 million times last year, and I think even more this year as we go towards the end into the Christmas season now.
And
So I saw there was a sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like the challenge with gift giving, especially for people. Well, for me, it's for everyone. I don't know what to get anyone, but
Yeah,
like getting gifts for clients, partners, employees, etc. I did a lot of Google searching, and it's a lot of PR driven or publicity driven content, right? Like in
yeah,
in all these different publications. It's essentially pay for play, or it's some sort of marketing element, which is not bad. I mean, the value of marketing really is to
listen.
curate the types of content that or products and services that people are interested in. So currently not a bad thing. But how do you, and I say that from a biased perspective as a media buying company, right? So I'm well into the marketing industrial complex here. Um, what's the difference? How do you make a decision about the types of gifts someone would be interested in based on their psychology or behavior?
Yeah, so we take into consideration not just the human psychology, which by the way stays the same for humans, but we also take into consideration the history, the demographics, and demographics such as age, gender, ethnicity. If they're millennials, they would prefer something else. If they're baby boomers, it'd be different. So we take all these aspects into consideration, and we have a in-house team of 20 plus psychologists at Gift of Feeling. So students as well as graduates and actual clinical psychologists from University of British Columbia, University of Toronto in Canada as well, and all around the globe. And we've done extensive research in the psychology sphere. Secondly, we have partnered with universities such as Harvard, U Berkeley, UBC again as well, to really deep dive into this thing and really find out the root cause of why exactly people fall into this prey. And one of the things that comes out was essentially giftophobia, a term that Gift of Feeling itself has termed, and it used as well too. So we take all these things into consideration in our research, and we try to put it up in some practical steps if you go to Gift of Feeling website, you will find the last minute gifting checklist I have. I myself am a best-selling author globally, selling the book called Everything the Gift, which essentially covers the whole thing behind the human psychology and all these aspects I've been talking about in detail. I really can't finish it up in 10 minutes of chat, but if you go through it and even through the checklist, you will understand how um, essentially five factors that any gift could be made perfect with the five attributes, which are personalization, experience, long-term satisfaction, practicality, usefulness, and finally the feeling. Because why you actually gift is to share the feeling and emotions with people, whether it's corporate, whether it's something else. You strengthen the relationship and bond by giving gifts. So we've really tried to target these aspects and lay down practical steps that people can follow. And as I said, we've tried to cover all the demographics. Um, so in most cases than not, it for sure hits the right human. Um, I like to say chemicals in the brain, and it stays similar for the public and people around the globe.
The best gift I've ever given is, with regards to my business, is a branded Yeti cup.
Mm,
I
yeah,
still use mine every day. Well, not every day, but most days I'm using mine. And I just got off a call today with our CPA, and he's like, I still use that Yeti cup from 2 years ago. And there has to, you're right, like there has to be some sort of functional component to it. Like, how do people, for so tell us again, what are those five elements? I really want to drill
yeah.
down into them.
Yeah. So let me start from the beginning. The first one that comes out is personalization. Really taking over these days for people. People have been bored with all the electronics that you can give because everyone really gets whatever they want straight off from Amazon or any other website as such. What's really missing is personalization that really connects people, and especially in this pandemic where people have really lost touch of people outside the close family groups and stuff, and really confined with just the close family members. I think personalization plays a huge role because it conveys the message, it conveys the feeling from one's heart to the others. So that's the first thing that comes as one of the attributes of perfect gift. Second that comes out is long-term satisfaction, because a lot of times you give a gift to someone and it just ends up sitting on the shelf eating dust. It's not useful at all in their daily lives. And you were talking about the Yeti cup. Use it every day. Whether if it was something that could just stay in your cupboard, it probably wouldn't come useful, and you wouldn't realize it was gifted to you by someone. You don't really, it doesn't really match the personalization aspect there. So long-term
100%.
satisfaction also depends on the quality, how what kind of quality you give. Because if the quality isn't good, then you just don't use it. It just sits in the sink then, if it's a cup or a
Yep.
mug. Third thing that comes out is experience. How does it make the people feel in everyday life? If you hold the mug and you have coffee in the morning in it or tea, I'm not sure what kind of person you are, but anything you have in it, you it gives you an experience every single day. When you drink coffee, you go towards it, brings a smile on your face, and oh, this is something that was gifted by XYZ person. The fourth thing that comes up is usefulness and practicality. As I said, shouldn't end up sitting on the shelf. It should come useful in every single day of life, or if not every single day, maybe like in a week or month, you go back to it, you use it, you feel good because it's giving you an experience. And the fifth factor is the feeling itself. A lot of times, people fall into this prey of giving gifts that miss out on the aspect of expressing themselves, and it's more material. It's really easy to fall for material gifts. For instance, you can give someone an iPhone 12, but people don't want it because it doesn't really. It's not the latest version. It's not the latest model by Apple. Even though it's material, it's really good. Has all the features as 13 as well in most cases, but that kind of misses out there. So the whole feeling and stuff behind it. If I think it'd be better if you just give someone a phone cover with some personalization text that given a phone that is the previous model, even though it's more expensive. So that takes down the cost part that more people fall into as a prey as well. Thinking if you give more expensive gift, it surely hits people. Whereas what you got to look for is try to connect yourself and trying to. One of the things I say at Gift a Feeling and most of our customers is, and I say in the book as well, is think about what problem you can solve in other people's life. If you put in that effort, even if you're gifted $10, it's really if it solves a problem, they will love it. a coffee mug. It could be even $12, $15, but if it hits someone, if it really helps them, it solves something in the mornings when they woke up um, every day, then that's something that's a better gift than something expensive and material.
There's absolutely something exceptional about the right uh, coffee cup. Exceptional
Yeah,
about the right coffee cup.
yeah, exactly. Find the
And
right message, find the right quote. If it goes with your motto or your
yeah,
saying, that's all you need. Yeah,
one of the best things I've ever heard about gift giving is if someone is particularly into a particular topic or thing, a hobby, you don't want to give them a gift in that of that ilk, of that type of thing. So, like for example, if someone is really into cigars, you don't want to give them a cigar holder because chances are they probably already have one,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
secondly, they may want something that's higher end or maybe more expensive because to them it's more valuable. So you might end up getting them a mid-level, a mid-tier product that they'll like, but it's not what they would have bought for themselves. And
right.
I think that's a very valuable point of view to live by when giving gifts. But gift giving is so hard. How did you? So your book is called The Gift, right?
It's called
Unearthing the Gift.
unearthing the gift.
And
Yeah,
what
always
and
end
what
up
do you
writing.
talk? Why did you write this book? What is it about?
Yeah, so when I started off, it's educating people through entertainment and putting out videos on social media and writing blogs. My team was working on producing content on this as well. It was really hard to really condense people because someone who starts off with personalization, the first attribute of what we call is a proven to be loved gift, they don't really go to experience the next point. They just leave it personalization because the next video or the next blog comes out a week later or a day later or a few hours later. So it's really hard to really put into perspective all things at once together, and it was becoming more difficult to condense it all as well. So book and all the research we've done, and we've published in scientific journals, we've published in different news channels and stuff as well, through all sort of medias, traditional, new, everything we were putting out. It was really hard to condense it all in a really small form. Um, Even though we came up with checklists that covers all these points and stuff, the whole education behind it, the things we've went through, the experiments we've done, the studies we've done, the research and everything it was really hard to condense it all. So I felt a book is one of the ways that you can really put it all together and get it out. And there is a need for this throughout the globe, not just North America. So that was the whole reason I wrote this book, and that's one of the reasons as well why it performed so well, because no one has really been talking about it on a broader scale like we are. Um, there've been researchers and like psychologists and all those people around the globe putting out content, putting out their research, but there isn't a condensed form that really answers this question to its root, and it goes to the root as well to really unroot it. That's why it's called unearthing the gift, because we're really going into the roots of this question: why people get confused, why is giftophobia affecting people more and more now going forward into the social media world, and trying to get it out from there. So I think book is one of the ways we can really deep dive into it and get the perspective and things clear out there.
And how do you? I mean, you make money. The business makes money by selling personalized gifts, right?
Yeah. So we all
So
the gifts are also research based, containing all these categories as well, which came out later. We started off as a research, more of a the whole goal behind gift feeling was just to help people with gifting. But going into it a year or 6 months later, we started feeling that people really need some avenue again. What was happening is they were getting educated at our platform and then they were going out to Amazon, but there's no intellect between these two things. So we felt there is people need a platform where they can get both the things together. So that's why we opened this whole new domain of gift feeling, which is selling personalized gift and going through the e-commerce to help people out there, but condensing it all together, the theory and the practicality and actual buying of gifts. Um,
how do you grow the business? Like, what are some of the marketing tactics that you use to get attention, drive sales, etc.?
Social media is a big one. We use email marketing as well. All these digital marketing platforms are one of the biggest driver of the sales for us. We've been investing into SEO as well lately, so that's growing as well. And we also have some other partnerships with corporates. We work with universities around the globe, getting the merge orders out as well. So there's different pillars and different, I would say, the pillars of gifted feeling. One of this is the research part that we really that's how we started. That's like the um, what we stand for. That's what we are. We educate people on this. And if someone wants to buy the gift from those, they are welcome to do it. We never force people to buy from us. What we tell people is just to get educated because there isn't a resource online really that condenses it all so as good as Gifted Feeling does. There could be research for sure, 100%, really good research done by psychologists. But how do you bridge the gap? How do you interlink? How do you comprehend those for a general public um, to use that into practicality? That's something that's fundamentally missing in the industry. And everyone's talking about top 10 gifts, best gifts, perfect gifts. You will find thousands and thousands of blogs, but there really isn't a trust badge. There really isn't any authenticity, any authority of those people saying it why it's the best gift. Um, so this is something that gets the most audience to us as well as a company, as an e-commerce company. Um, the whole marketing part is we've we've produced good enough content that we don't have to market ourselves too much. We've had customers who started with us reading our blogs, and now they're still with us. Returning customers, lifetime value, we really stress upon that. As I said, long-term satisfaction. That's one of the brand mantras at Gifted Feeling as well. And really, because this question, this what to gift exists in every human's mind once in a life, for sure. And that's where we help them. So a lot of our marketing part, I wouldn't say marketing, but a lot of our part of helping people is through Q&A forums, is through social media, email marketing. So this is where we get most of our audience from. I wouldn't say customers yet. Some of the converts and not. Our goal is to educate them, not to make them the real customers and make money out of them.
Are you so okay? So let's drill down into your social marketing. I mean, I feel like TikTok is probably a really great place for you guys. Like, what are the platforms that do well for you?
We don't do TikTok.
You don't do
We
TikTok,
haven't
okay?
we haven't started yet. That's right there. We've been going into 2022. We're gonna start TikTok soon. We have a channel with a few videos so far. No
Mm,
followers, nothing. We will have a YouTube. We'll have a multi-platform strategy and
mhm.
starting January. So we'll be posting on all the platforms together in different ways. So it's the videos are gonna go out in YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all these platforms all together. Most of the videos, and if you look at the Gifted Feeling social media handles, you will find the videos and the posts as well are more on the education side because that's what we do. Selling part is like I would say it's the third thing that comes in the line. So you wouldn't find a lot of products being sold, although we do run ads once in a while for our top products, especially the gifting season, the Christmas season. We did a lot of advertisement, but with regards to social media strategy, our goal is to just educate people. That's because that's what we are. That's our USP in this globe. Because social media is huge. There's so much There's so much. People talk about a lot of different things. And one of the things that we really found funny was making videos of top 10 products to gift to mom did better than putting out education content on how to gift a gift for mom. So
Mm.
there's that thing. What we're trying to do is trying to make more edutainment videos than just educational. So it will be entertainment plus education all together. And that's what we'll be working on going forward in 2022.
And so over the last year, how has your business changed, right? Like COVID is kind of like waning, but it's still a thing. You have the Omicron variant coming up now. And like, tell me about how this affects your business. Like, does it affect your supply chain? How does it change your communications?
Supply chain surely was hit, especially when COVID started. But we are a new company as well, so it wasn't as difficult for us. We went through different avenues, went to different shipping partners, and we started out that way. It's not like we had a huge infrastructure build up before COVID because we are a new company. So COVID gave us an opportunity to really take into consideration different options at a time. So instead of going with one shipping partner or let's say one making all the inventory from one place, we distributed it all through different platforms and different partners. And so we worked on those things to really diversify our whole infrastructure and shipping and supply chain side. So COVID really helped us there. It opened our eyes early on how to design it such a way that it doesn't really affect if there's a pandemic in the future. I hope it's not. But coming with a new variant, we have partners around the globe. Um, we've opened up hubs where we store not too much items, but we don't do bulk too much right now. So we store parts of the items everywhere, and it's easy to produce there because everything is personalized. Even a single shirt, we personalize it. If you want to put your name on it or something, you can do it, and we produce it and ship it. So shipping times usually don't affect too much because we are closer to our customers. Um, that's an easy way to put it. So we try to stay closer to the customers all around Canada and US. So it's easier for us to really get things out, even if there's a pandemic going, and it doesn't affect too much. And a good thing is people also understand now that things might take longer than expected, and
Sure.
over the last year or year and a half, that's something that people have also got used to. Although Amazon still promises a single day delivery and they did do it, but people have gone to delayed deliveries and stuff. So that kind of helps us there as well.
Even the U.S. Postal Service is late, which has
Yeah.
become more common recently. So it sounds like in 2022 you're really focusing on. I mean, what are your primary initiatives for 2022? You mentioned your marketing, your content creation. Like, what are you? How are you going to blow out 2022 to make it a fantastic year?
Yeah. So we're going after the business part is gonna stay the same. We're just gonna start with TikTok and go high on social media for entertainment videos and stuff. So that's the social media part. I personally like to work with researchers more because that's what I lead. I lead the team of 20 plus researchers and psychologists. So I work really closely with the R&D part of the whole gift giving as such. Um, so what we're looking into right now for 2022 are initiatives like mental health. Um, how has COVID affected it? How can gifting improve it? Um, because one of the things that really, and Howard has done a research for more than 80 years on this topic as well, that your community connections and the connections you have with people and your relationships are what makes you happy in the longer term, and it also extends your lifespan. So that's one part we're really targeting how gifts can help you there. Because as I said, thing, the whole idea behind gifting is to strengthen your relationships with people, to rebond now after COVID, or it's still going. How can you stay in touch and all these different things? How gifting can play a huge role here, and that's something that we're focusing on right now. Post pandemic, we called it until November, but with the new variant, we will probably just call it midway in the pandemic or something. So the branding is to be changed a bit, the marketing part, but overall the idea stays the same. How can you rebond and re-strengthen relationships during the pandemic and after the pandemic through gifting as a source, as a resource for you?
And where can people find you and Gift a Feeling?
We are on all the social media platforms except TikTok. We will be. So that's the number one place. You can find us at www.giftafeeling.com. And even if you search for giftophobia, we will be the first one showing up there as well,
Hmm.
because that's something that we've termed and it existed in the dictionaries and existed in the books in the history in 1880s, 1920s, all that time frame, the 50 years. But we've brought up a whole modernized form of this word and how social media has impacted the whole gifting um, domain and gifting in general. So we are focused on that part as well and educating people on those.
Giftophobia.
Yeah.
Well, Vinayak Mahajan, founder and CEO of Gift of Feeling. Check them out at giftofeeling.com. Thanks for being with us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the LA Business Podcast. If you like what we're doing on this podcast, please consider subscribing on Apple or Google Play, leaving a 5-star review, and sharing with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations for a guest you'd like to hear on this podcast, please email me, robert@brillmedia.co. Thank you. Have a fantastic day.